about the animated station, no one stop destination, and Power Rangers Turbo sucks. Yeah, it sucks. That should be pretty much a known fact by now that it sucks. But I still have to cover it anyway, because I said I'm covering every season of Power Rangers, and that includes the bad ones. But, just like with Mighty Morphin, this one has a movie. And unlike the Mighty Morphin one, which is non-canon and pretty much just a complete separate thing, which is why I waited till the end of talking about the 3 seasons to talk about that one, unfortunately, the pilot of Turbo is the whole freaking first movie of Turbo. Let's just get it over with. Let's just get it over with. So starting off with Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, we have the cast. The main Rangers are Kat, Tanya, Adam, and Tommy, and newcomer Justin. I'll talk more about him later. Played by Blake Foster. No offense to the actor. And yeah, Kat, Tanya, Adam, and Tommy are the same color Rangers as they were in Zeo, so no need to even go into detail there. And then Justin's the Blue Ranger. And then for the supporting cast, we still have Bulk, played by Paul Schreier, Skull, played by Jason Narvey, and this time we have Rocky, played by Steve Cardenas, as this is pretty much his goodbye to the series. Well, what a terrible goodbye it is. And then they decided to also bring back Kimberly and Jason, Amy Jo Johnson, Ansa St. John, for little to no reason whatsoever aside from market value. Joy. Then you have Zordon, played by David J. Fielding. You have Alpha, once again voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz, but given a new sound chip with hip lingo phrase. It's just as terrible and cringy as it sounds. Then you still have Lieutenant/Detective Stone, played by Greg Bullock. You still have Ernie, played by Richard Janelle, in his final performance of the entire franchise as the character. And then you also have Larigo, voiced by Lex Lang. Yes, that Lex Lang. And then for the villains, we have Divatox, and she is played by Hilary Shepard. Sorry, I had to scroll down a little bit there. Elgar, voiced by Derek Stephen Prince. Elgar is annoying and terrible, but no offense to the voice actor. The Foot Soldiers are Piranhatrons, and you also have Rita Repulsa, played by Barbara Goodson, Lord Zed, who's not played by Robert Axelrod. Instead, he's voiced by the same guy that's in the suit, Ed Neal. And then Malagor, voiced by Michael Deek. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole cast of the movie, not including extras. The plot synopsis goes as follows. The legendary Power Rangers must stop the evil space pirate Divatox from releasing the powerful Malagor from his volcanic imprisonment on the island of Merintheus? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Where only the kindly wizard Larigo has the key to release him. The hope of victory lies in the Rangers' incredible new turbo powers and powerful turbo Zords. The pros. Good directing, nice cinematography, cool set design, especially when they go into the volcano in the end. Decent fights, serviceable acting from mostly everybody. A few funny moments, good practical effects, a decent budget, okay soundtrack, and some cool concepts. Like, on paper, this movie doesn't sound that bad. And now I'm getting nervous. You know it's gonna be bad. Here's all the cons. Bad villains, horrible writing, tons of plot holes, suits are a huge downgrade from Zeo, terrible new Ranger, yes, Justin sucks as a Ranger and sucks as a character, you will not be able to convince me otherwise. Legacy characters are completely wasted, clunky story, horrendous pacing, cringy dialogue, and an awful final battle. Overall, the movie, final verdict for that is a 4. It is a cringy mess that leads into an even worse season of the series, complete and total crud. Just saved from being worse by the actual charisma of the team itself. Now let's get to the season, which somehow sucks even harder than the movie. First up, for the main Rangers of the first half, you have all the same people I just listed. Kat, Tanya, Adam, Justin, and Tommy. And then you also have Phantom Ranger, voiced by Ali Afshar. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Phantom Ranger is cool, I'll talk about him later. And then in the second half of the season, we have ourselves another cast shift because the final of the cast from Zio wanted to leave, so they wrote in a cast shift, a really bad cast shift, if you ask me. Not bad as in the actors and the characters, bad as in the way they actually decided to go about it. So, the main Rangers in the second half are Cassie, played by Patricia Lee, or is it Lee? Lee. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. As the Pink Ranger, Ashley, played by Tracy Lynn Chase, as the Yellow Ranger, Carlos as the Green Ranger, played by Roger Velasco, and TJ, the new Red Ranger, played by Selwyn Ward. The cast of the new characters aren't that bad. That's not the bad part. I'll get to the bad part in a minute. Then there's a supporting cast. We have Bulk, Skull, Zordon, and Alpha, as well as Detective Stone. And then we also have Miss Appleby and Blue Centurion. Yes, I'm counting Blue Centurion as a ally character and not a 6th Ranger because the Ranger Wiki does the same exact thing. Phantom Ranger is the 6th Ranger of the season. Blue Centurion is just an ally. Yes, there's a difference. Shush. So yeah, the supporting cast is people we all know, aside from Blue Centurion, who's played by David Walsh. Yeah, pretty much deals with that. Then the villains, again, Divatox, Hillard Shepard, Elgar, Derek, Stephen Prince, Rygog, Lex Lang. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about these guys. Rygog is played by Lex Lang. Porto is played by Scott Page Pector. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. You still have Malagor, played by Michael Deek. And you have Piranhatrons. Self-explanatory. Why I didn't talk about Rygog and Porto? Because they're not in the movie. Simple as that. And then for the weapons, for the universal weapons, you have the Auto Blaster, the Turbo Blades, and the Turbine Laser. And then for the Ranger-specific weapons, you have the Turbo Lightning Sword from the Red Ranger, you have the Turbo Hand Blasters, which are just 2 giant hand cannons for the Blue Ranger, you have a giant Thunder Cannon, wielded by the Green Ranger, Star Chargers, wielded by the Yellow Ranger, and wielded by the Pink Ranger is the Turbo Windfire. In other words, the Pink Ranger got another bow. I mean, they're cool in design, I guess, but I don't know. They seem lacking in a few things. Then there's the Turbo Ram. That's the big ultimate weapon when all the weapons are combined together. And then, of course, Phantom Ranger gets his own weapon, the Phantom Laser. Moving on to the vehicles, since this is a car-themed season, there's more than a few of them. We have the turbo carts of each Ranger, and then for Red Ranger, he has Lightning Cruiser, and no, it's not the same as his Zord. It's a completely different vehicle altogether. Same goes for Storm Blaster for the Blue Ranger, as well as the Centurion Cycle, which is also for the Blue Ranger. Yeah, why Blue Ranger got 2 vehicles is beyond me. Moving on to the Zords, we have Red Lightning, Mountain Blaster, Desert Thunder, Doomstar, and Windchaser for red, blue, green, yellow, and pink respectively. And then later on you have the Rescue Zords, which are Lightning Fire, Siren Blaster, Thunder Loader, Star Racer, and Wind Rescue, wielded by red, blue, green, yellow, and pink respectively. And then for the Phantom Ranger, he does have his own Zord called Artillatron. It's a confusing name, but it's a cool Zord. And then you only have 3 Megazords. You have the Turbo, you have the Rescue, and the Rescue Turbo. Now for the essential episodes, if you decide to put yourself through this tormental crap. These are the episodes that you absolutely need to watch. Out of the 49 episodes of the season, you only need to watch 16. And that's torturous enough in this season as is. I'm sorry, I hate this season. I'm going to tell you why after I explain this. So for the essential episodes, you have Shift in the Turbo, Part 1 through 3. That's the series premiere. Then you have Wait and See. I include this one in here because it's the episode that deals with anorexia. It's a pretty serious topic that's treated very respectively and in a very serious manner. But it has a nice message at the end. I consider it a good episode. Then there's Passing the Torch, Part 1 and 2. That is the cast shift that happens halfway through the season. And they're bad. It's a bad episode, it's a bad 2-parter, and a bad actual execution of said cast shift. But it's still technically essential if you have to force yourself through this horrible season. And then we have the Phantom Ranger arc, which lasts 7 episodes. We have the Phantom Phenomenon, Vanishing Act, When Time Freezes Over, The Darkest Day, Our Last Hope, The Fall of the Phantom, and finally Clash of the Megazords. Yeah, there's that. Then you have Parts and Parcel, that's the final episode before the finale. And then you have the finale, Chase into Space Part 1 and 2, the best episode of the entire season. It's the season finale, which means, yay, no more torture. It is the final true destruction of the power chamber. Like, this is the final time we see it. It's destroyed for good in this episode. And it leads perfectly into the next season in space, which is leagues better than this crap. So, yep. That's all the essential episodes. And for the Ranger colors, you have red, blue, green, yellow, pink, and phantom. Alright, what do I think? Alright, before I talk about my overall thoughts and why I hate this season so much, what do I think of the overall Ranger suit designs? A downgrade from Zeo, like I said in the Turbo movie review of this movie section of this review. But the suits themselves aren't bad. Like, it's an interesting design, it's an interesting way to go, and I don't think these are bad suit designs. Like, the suits are fine. Like, they fit the car theme perfectly fine, and they're fine. And they bring back that stupid silver thing with the molded mouthpiece. They're fine, but I'm not going to call them good. Okay, now I get to talk about my overall thoughts on the season. If I hadn't made clear already, this season sucks. Outside the 16 essential episodes I've listed, you do not need to watch this season. The rest of it is entirely inessential to your time. Because, what, let me bring out my calculator. What's 49 minus 16? Give me 1 minute. $33. The other 33 episodes in this season are completely worthless and not worth your time. The writing is bad, the story is bad, the acting's fine for the most part, but when they're given horrible material, it's not going to always turn in gold. This season is misguided. This season feels so corporate. It feels so planned out. And having a kid as a ranger sounded okay on paper, but in execution, it is a terrible idea. There's a reason that Justin's the only one that ever has done that, because they realized it was bad and never did it again. Which, good in my opinion. And after this season, well, the next one's supposed to be the last one, because this series was so bad that it put the whole entire franchise's ratings in the toilet. Meaning, In Space was pretended to be the final season of the entire series. Look, this season is trash. It is trash, it is bad, and outside the 16 episodes I've mentioned, the rest you can skip. Not even the charisma of the Zeo cast in the first half of the season are enough to even make this remotely passable. Bad villains, bad writing, bad story, bad concepts, just all bad. It took everything that was perfectly built in Zeo and threw it in the toilet. This season is garbage. Total garbage. Even if you're the most curious die-hard Power Rangers fan there is, avoid this pile of trash. Like I said, besides the 16 episodes I've listed out, the entire 49 episodes of this torturous, god-awful season, the rest of it is entirely pointless and not worth wasting your time over. Watch the 16 episodes I've listed, and then the rest just pretend they don't exist. Because this season sucks. is as bad as you heard of. No, it's not as bad as you heard of. It's even worse. And rewatching it now only makes it even worse. I hold nothing against the actors. I'm sure they were trying their best, but this season blows. It still remains one of the worst seasons of the entire series. And in a series that also includes garbage like Operation Overdrive, that is saying something. In a franchise that includes the absolute god-awful, atrocious Megaforce, that is saying a lot. Final verdict for this sorry excuse of a season of Power Rangers is a 2. It is a 2 out of 10. It is a terrible season of the show. It is an absolute abomination that clearly was made by corporate to try and save the series, and instead threw it down the toilet's ratings even more than the episodes of Zeo were starting to do. As great as that season was, the ratings were starting to slip, and this was their attempt to try and save it. Instead, they darn near killed the whole series with this garbage. This season sucks, and after this review, I'm never watching it again. Because trust me, it is not worth your time. And unfortunately, we had to end today's reviews on such a stinker. But thankfully, next time we're talking about what is arguably the best season of the entire series. Though it's not my personal favorite, I can see why it's considered the best by most people. So, tomorrow's going to hopefully be better, along with the review of Guardians Volume 3. Please don't suck as hard as Volume 2, please. So, yep. See you tomorrow for my reviews of Guardians Volume 3 and Power Rangers in Space.